right, it is time to review our assignment from last time. And the first thing that I want us to just double check in on is when you did your own trial, what did you notice about the result? And what you should have noticed about the result is that you got the original number, or the number you started with. Moving on to the next problem that you were supposed to do on your own. If I'm adding 3/4, the inverse or the opposite of that is subtract 3/4. If I subtract 1 2/3, the inverse of that is add 1 2/3. Dividing by 8, the inverse is multiply by 8. And multiply by 1/2, the inverse would be divide by 1/2. So if you remember that multiplication and division are opposites and subtraction and addition are opposites, that will make this a whole lot easier because all you worry about is changing the operation. Let's move on to the next problem. And the next one that I assigned for you to do was another math trick. And it says complete the table below and look carefully at the algebra tiles to fill in each of the steps. Use your own numbers in the trials, again, thinking about fractions, decimals, or 0. So when we're taking a look at this, we've got pick a number. And for our pick a number, you may not have done the same thing I did, but I'm going to choose the number 7. And then I'm going to focus in on these steps here. So the step for number 2 says to add something. And when I compare the two boxes here in the pictures, the thing that is different in the picture that I'm looking at right now for number 2 is I added 1, 2, 3. So I would write add 3. For this next one, it says multiply by a certain number. That's our direction. Again, I'm going to take a look at how this is changed. In the one above, I've got just 1x and a set of 3 individual tiles. Now I've got 3 x's and I've got 3 groups of 3 tiles. So that's telling me that I'm going to multiply by 3. And as I'm taking a look over here, again, comparing what I just did to what is next, I have the same number of x's. I have one set of 3 that matches up with the one below, a second set of 3 that matches up with the one below, but I am missing this other set of 3 from above. So I'm going to be subtracting 3 for my direction. And then when I take a look, again, I'm comparing. And up here I have 3 x's. And I have 2 sets of 3 unit tiles. When I go to look and see what's different, I'm going to looks like I'm dividing by 3 here. Because 3x's divided by 3 gives me 1x. This tile divided by 3 gives me that one. This set divided by 3 gives me the other unit tile. And then subtract the original number. And it looks like I'm left with 2. So let's see how that plays out with the trial that I'm going to walk through with you as we're reviewing this assignment. 7 plus 3 equals 10. Multiply by 3, so I take my answer times 3, and that gives me 30. Subtract 3, 30 subtract 3 gives me 27. Divide by 3, 27 divided by 3 gives me 9. 9 subtract 7 gives me 2. And that is exactly what I have in this picture over here. The picture up. I'm not going to do another trial to review this with you. My big focus was making sure that you had the steps done correctly. All right. And that's it for our review of our lesson for today. If you did not do everything you could have gotten done yesterday and now this makes more sense to you, I'd like you to go ahead and make sure that you have completed a second trial.